Awesome. All right, guys, I'm not sure how much that you caught or you didn't. So let me give you a quick Reader's Digest version on what I just went over. Today, you're going to have the opportunity to invest into 4 investment opportunities, 2 pre-construction condos, one on the north part of our city, and then one right in the heart of the city, right by Hyde Park. The 3rd investment opportunity is going to be a student housing investment opportunity, which I like to dub as one of the best recession-proof investments due to the fact that the only way that it gets really affected, that type of investment, is if parents stop sending their kids to school, which I don't see happening anytime soon. And then the 4th one is where a passive investment that you can actually invest your RRSPs and registered funds. I'm very excited because the numbers keep getting up in terms of how many people are coming on. We are expecting a little over 897 people today. And this is for action takers, guys, today. Today's event is all about taking action on these investment properties. You have probably about 35 to 40 open slots, meaning those 35 to 40 possible transactions that can be made today are open to you. But with 897 people going to be watching today, you're going to have to take action when I let you know where to get all the information. And what you're going to be doing when you go to this website, I'm going to let everyone know after we're done the 4 investment strategies, which we're only going to spend. My lucky number is 13, so we're only going to spend 13 minutes on each of these investment opportunities. I'm going to try my best. You know, I like the sound of my own voice sometimes. I know a lot of you know that, but I'm going to try my best to get you out of here today by no later than 8:10 p.m. Let's see how we do. If I go over, somebody can call me out and coffee's on me. I'm going to try my best to get you out of here by 8:10 p.m. because I want you to get the information from the presenters, then go to the website. You go get the full collateral. Everything is in our Google Drives, and you're able to download all the information, and then you're able to put in a reservation form, which at least ties up the property. That's where my favorite strategy in real estate starts to unfold, which is ready, fire, aim. You're able to fire and initiate a deal by putting in a reservation form. You'll speak to one of my team members that will go through that with you in the next 24 to 36 hours. And they'll go through that investment opportunity with you to make sure it's the right investment for you. And then you go into the aim part, which is do the due diligence and then see if this is the right investment opportunity and move forward. I am so excited that our new target for 2022 for this investors marketplace is going to be 75 million is what we're going to try to initiate today. Why? How did I come up with that number? Well, I like to think big. And back in October 2021, we did a little over 45 million in initiated real estate deals. In 2022 of January, the second investors marketplace, we actually did a little over 57 million. So today we're going to be going towards 75 million to initiate in real estate deals. And you're going to make that happen because I know there's a lot of action takers out of the little over 897 people that are registered. Why don't we, Stephen, bring in our first guest? I know he's a busy, busy man, Mr. Elliot Taube from HMG Marketing Group, and he's going to be bringing to us an opportunity. It's a new build pre-construction opportunity in the heart of the city. Stephen, is Elliot here? There he is. How you doing, Mr. Good Looking?
I'm good. How are you? You got a lot of energy, man. Is that coffee in that cup there?
You know what? It's not coffee. It's a red cup. It's not vodka or alcohol yet. We do that stuff afterwards. We get the work done. It is water. The energy is in the DNA. So you can thank Mr. and Mrs. Takar for that. And I appreciate you noticing. My clients who have been in my wheelhouse for 17 years, Elliot, they know how we roll. Myself, Simos, Laura, Bobby, Tyler, Stephen, our whole 54 agents. We like to bring as much education as we possibly can through our content, daily content, 10, 15 videos a day. But today's event, Elliot, and I know you're going to love this because you're like, I think I'm going to dub you Mr. Real Estate if you're okay with that, buddy, because we've known each other for a very long time. We've done a lot of real estate together, my outfit, your outfit, and today is for action takers. And the opportunity that you're bringing is one of two, in my opinion, of the hottest opportunities and you're bringing exclusive incentives to my REC Insider. So I want to thank you for that. But Elliot, can you please talk about all things Southport condos? Why should an investor consider Southport condos, my friend?
Okay, I'm going to jump into Southport, and I want to thank you guys and your team for setting me up here today. I'm actually doing another launch. I'm launching Exchange District Signature Residence in Mississauga. These guys went out of their way to get me a boardroom right across from the event. So if you're looking for Mississauga, talk to these guys. But we're going to talk about Southport, which is actually launching tomorrow. So Southport is located in Swansea, and for those who don't know Swansea, it is probably one of the most coveted neighborhoods in the city. It is bounded by High Park to the east, Bloor West Village to the north, and Lake Ontario to the south, the Humber to the west. So it is an incredible opportunity from a locational standpoint. And for this neighborhood, and all over the city, we build condos, but there's almost nothing that gets built in this neighborhood. It's really a low-rise area. And our client, State Building Group, actually acquired this site over 10 years ago and have got it finally through the process, through the city, to be able to build on this location. So we're coming out tomorrow. It is 2 towers. You can see one of them in the background. And we're going to launch 325 units tomorrow at what is, I think, a premier opportunity for an underserved neighborhood at a price point that is well below downtown, but you have the same values from a rental standpoint here, probably even more because there's no product. Appreciation that's going to go, because again, we don't have areas to build. Like to the east of me, I've got High Park. Nobody's going to let us build in High Park as much as I'd like
It's my
to.
Elliot, it's my favorite park, like in our city, hands down. So they better not be doing anything with that, especially with the cherry blossoms. I throw a massive barbecue for my family and friends every single year at that park. There's a couple of things that I just want to unpack, and because you mentioned a lot of things. You spoke about the low rise of in the area of Swansea and High Park. I mean, last time I checked, I think the average price point for a detached home right now is in and around minimum $2.4 million. I mean, that's the neighborhood that this project is being built at. I also wanted to touch on, because I know there's some new REC insiders watching today's marketplace, and I really wanted to quickly touch on, because you're just, I mean, again, you're Mr. Real Estate when it comes to this. You've been doing this for such a long time, and we're very thankful because, as Elliot mentioned, I'm not sure if people caught it, there's a reason we bring someone like Elliot on, because I like to digitally kidnap him as much as I possibly can and not have him do anything else and not give any of the units to anyone else. And hopefully he can give us a more allocation in terms of the type of units. And so that's why he's here. But let's touch on the fact that why this type of investment, Elliot, is so beneficial to an investor, because, you know, they don't need to get a mortgage until 3-4 years when the building gets built. There's a formality of getting a pre-approval. We got to make sure that this is the right type of investment in terms of qualifications financially for the investor, but they don't actually have to get the mortgage because the building's not built. And we also know that the deposit, the down payment structure as an investor is 20% here in Ontario, but that's done in installments over the 3-year period. And your guys' deposit structure is so flexible. Can you just touch on that a little bit, Elliot?
Well, sure. So, I mean, we do want 20%, 5% will come at occupancy. So we're only looking for 15% over the next 500 days. So we really spread it out. And in your portal, you're going to have everything that kind of breaks down that deposit for you. So it is really easy for somebody to get in. We know that the numbers are high, so we wanted to spread it out as much as possible.
And you mentioned about the 300 units, guys. For anybody who's done this before, and we've done a little over, and this is not to impress anyone, it's to impress upon you where all the data is coming from. I mean, I've been doing the pre-construction stuff myself for my clients now for, I'm going to say, about a decade. It's probably been closer to, like, say 9.5 to 10 years. And we've done a little over now 2,000 units in that time period. And one of the reasons I personally like to invest into pre-construction is because if you get in very early, and again, guys, it's not even launched yet to the public, like nobody knows about this yet, and so you as an REC insider are hearing it first here, and there's only about 7 to 8 times I say things like that with confidence, it's almost borderline cockiness I say it with, because I want people to understand that you win with this type of investment by getting in early, because the builder is not going to release all the units at the same time. They're going to stagger the units out. And as long as you got in very early, you're going to be able to take advantage of the forced appreciation. Elliot mentioned the passive appreciation that we know is happening in Toronto to the tune of 20% year over year for the past couple of years. But let's be ultra conservative. I'm the son of a taxi driver and a factory worker, Elliot. I mean, it's safe to say the last 40 years, we've seen anywhere from 7.5% to 8% year over year increase. That you're not only going to enjoy the passive appreciation, but there's that forced appreciation that the builder makes happen for the investor as well.
Yeah. So, I mean, with the market right now, we know, like I said, we're going to come out with 325 units tomorrow. And we have set aside special units for you guys and your team, so that at least everyone has access to it. It's a 625 unit building. So those next 300 are going to come out more. Also, from a time standpoint, we're zoned, we're approved. We want to be in the ground this fall. But it's still going to be 4 years before you're going to take occupancy. So if you watch the trajectory of any real estate over the last little while, 4 years in this market, it's going to shoot up. From a price standpoint, because I know everybody wants to talk about that, we talk about PSF, we're in the low 1400s on a blended average on this building, which is really outstanding, because when you look at downtown right now, the last stuff I sold, 1,800 bucks a foot. There's projects coming out at 2,000 bucks a foot. You're in the same city in an area that's underserved, and 300. I'm launching again today in Mississauga. I'm 1,400 bucks in Mississauga. So this is 416 prime real estate from a developer that is just, state. And if you look at their history, this is a 60-year-old developer. So you're in good hands.
Well, I mean, great segue for the next, we have a couple more minutes, and I did want to touch on two more things. Number one, you mentioned the builder's state. I mean, for me, that's one of the most important things when you're looking at a pre-construction condo. You want to make sure you're not, as the investor, being used as the guinea pig of a builder who's doing this the first time around. Like, we want to make sure that they've done this. What's the fit? What's the finishes? I mean, the building that State did back in Midtown at Avenue, right around, I think it's on the exact address is on Avenue Road. Till this day, it has the highest one of the highest price per square foot for resale condos. I mean, the fact that this builder's been doing it for 60 years, that there's going to be issues that come up because the nail is popping out of the wall of the drywall, or maybe the cabinets got scratched up. That stuff happens. It's a matter of what's the customer service like of the builder to take care of that. And this builder, I mean, the reputation, go just Google State Development. You will have a long list if you want to go through all that. But the third point that I need to cover with you is incentives. We want to make sure that we're covered as an investor from the right to rent during occupancy and lease and right to assign. Can you just touch on some of the incentives for the project, Elliot?
Yeah, so definitely. So we're going to do caps on development charges, because we know those are scary right now. That's a 16,000 flat cap on there. Right to lease during occupancy, so you don't have to worry. The minute you get the keys, you want to rent it out, you want to take possession, you can get in there and deal with that. Free assignment, there is the legal fees, the normal stuff that goes on. So even when we say free assignment, it's about 1,500 bucks to do it. And that's all part of it. An amazing deposit, and a price that's going to come out.
Well, look, I mean, I think the price point that it's coming out with compared to what's happening in that area when it comes to the single family homes, as I mentioned, minimum $2.4 million. Why is that important to you as an investor to know? Well, you want to know that you're investing into an area that's in high demand and very low supply. It's the best recipe for an investment that's for the long term. And now there is a lot of rhetoric and noise in the media with the rates going up here. With this strategy of a pre-construction condo, you're kind of protected. And the reason I say that, as long as you're a long-term investor, and that means 7, 8 to 10 years, that values are always going to go up and down, upwards, specifically in the greater Toronto area. And so if you want to protect yourself against inflation, the best way to do that is to make an investment into something where the rate of return on that investment is higher than the rate of inflation. And so all out of the 4 opportunities that I'm going to be bringing to you guys today, including Southport, you're looking at, when you consider the passive appreciation, the principal pay down, the cash flow on the property, you're looking at anywhere from 27 to 32% year over year returns. Inflation might be at right now 6.77%, depending on who you ask. If you're flirting around 27, 32% ROI on a yearly basis, you're doing very well. In fact, with a pre-construction condo, because as Elliot mentioned, in year 1, you're only getting to about 10% down. So if you look at an $800,000 condo and you put down $80,000 in the first year, if the value from a passive perspective or a forced appreciation in terms of how much the builder increases it is only by 5%, well, that's a $40,000 increase on that 800,000. Your return on your investor, Mr. and Mrs. Investor, was 50%. It's one of the only ways that you get those type of returns. Elliot, some last minute thoughts on Southport. I know how busy you are. Guys, Google Elliot. I mean, this guy's really one of the top people when it comes to real estate in our city. I know how busy he is. He's so busy, as he mentioned, we literally had to lock him in this room. I had Simos and Bobby and Christina go get him into a room, set up all the cameras. Yeah. He has another presentation to make. Leave my insiders today, Elliot, with 1 or 2 things about Southport.
Well, first off, again, thank you. And thank you for doing this. This is an opportunity like no other. And one of the things that you guys can do, and if you want to reach out to the sales team and Jazz's sales team, we have an amazing presentation center right on site, 2-bedroom model suite. We don't do that anymore. And it's at the sales office. So you can come down. So if you're not sure about this investment, get one of their people to bring you down to the sales office Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm going to be down there. You want to talk to me? I'm going to be down there as well. And we'll take you through the project. And then just tour the neighborhood, go through Bloor West, go through High Park, go down to the waterfront, and you're going to fall in love and you're going to want Southport.
I love it, Elliot. Thank you so much for being here with us. And, you know, I haven't been able to say it to you. Thank you for everything that you've done for REC and our team and our clients as well. It really means the world to us.
My pleasure. And thank you. And to everybody, good night. And come down, say hi to me this weekend. I'm going to be at Southport.
100%. Awesome, buddy.
Okay. Bye-bye.
All right, guys. I'm not going to let you know yet where to get all the information for Southport because we still have 3 more opportunities to bring to the table. I just want to make sure, Stephen, I'm just hearing Elliot. Can we just mute Elliot? Bear with me here, guys, because I hear still Elliot in the background. There we go. We're good. As Elliot mentioned, in terms of pricing and all the incentives, I'm going to let you know where to get all the information. And our new build expert on my team, some would say he's my right-hand guy, Mr. Luke Leasing, will go through everything with you. We're going to have about anywhere from 12 to 14 units given to us. So as you know, with the amount of people that are watching today's marketplace, and congratulations to everybody who's watching, because at the end of the day, you could have been anywhere, but you chose to be here with me and my team today, and you're going to have an opportunity to reserve a unit at Southport Condos and actually take action today. But now we're going to shift gears a little bit and speak to an investment that is even more passive than a pre-construction condo. It's not actually purchasing a unit, but it behaves and acts very similar to a REIT, which is a real estate investment trust, where you can actually invest your registered funds. I'm not going to talk too much about the returns or anything of that sort because I would not do it justice, and that's why I have Kyle coming on from Equiton joining me right now. Stephen, can we bring the good-looking Kyle on? And you guys know why I said he's so good-looking. Look at that blazer, shirt, and tie, making me look bad. Thanks, Kyle.
Oh, you do me too much. You do me too much. I really appreciate that, Jazz. I really appreciate that. First of all, thanks for having us on here. Always happy to do these events. I'll try and match Jazz's energy here a little bit, but I don't know if I'll be able to come close.
Hey, look, you already look better on screen with me, than me. At least give me the energy aspect. All right. So I appreciate that. Kyle, look, I mean, a lot of my insiders, and we have a little over now 11,272 people. Tyler just gave me my number before I got started in terms of how many in REC insiders that we've been nurturing and cultivating and connecting with and helping do deals for the 17 years that I've been doing this. A lot of them know about Equiton and they've made investments with you, just like the pre-construction condo stuff that I was talking about. I've had probably out of the 897 people that are going to be joining us today, I'm going to say 65 to 70% of them have already invested into a pre-construction condo, if not 2 or 3 with us in that 17 years. But some of them have invested into a REIT, but a lot of them don't know what we're talking about. So talk to me about Equiton and the type of investment it is, my friend.
So first of all, let's kind of break that down a little bit. So essentially, a REIT is a real estate investment trust, okay? And the reason why we set it up as a real estate investment trust is so that people can invest their registered money. So like their TFSAs, RRSPs, those type of things. So to just kind of give you guys a little bit of structure behind what it looks like is the mutual fund trust actually owns the assets within it, okay? So actually owns the assets. As an investor, what you would be doing is buying units of the trust, which gives you a small percentage ownership into a really vast portfolio of real estate assets, and you get to participate directly in the returns that come out of it. So that's essentially how it's structured and how it works. Now, kind of talking about Equiton really quick, I like to say we're real estate experts managing real estate assets. And the reason why I say that is because we're not just a billionaire hedge fund who liked the space, wanted to get involved. Our upper management has very, very extensive real estate backgrounds, and the growth of the company really speaks for itself, and them being able to leverage that expertise into building the company what it is today. So just a couple numbers for you guys really quick. We started the company back in 2015 with about $20 million in assets under management. You fast forward to 2022, we got just over $650 million in assets under management. We've gone from 3 employees to 114. So it really goes to show that we know what we're doing. We know the type of assets, and you can take advantage of our expertise.
Now, Kyle, I mean, you did a great job breaking that down. Let's talk about kind of the minimum investment that's required, right? Because this behaves, like I said, much differently than like owning an income property or buying a pre-construction condo or looking at a student housing investment, because there, as an investor here in Ontario, excuse me, you have to come up with 20% down. But here with Equiton, it works a little different. So what's some of the minimum requirements in terms of an initial investment? And then if you can touch on, and we won't quote you, there's only about 800 people watching right now. Can you talk a little bit about the rate of return?
Of course, of course. So we essentially have 3 different real estate investment trusts that we are actively managing that you can get involved in. You can get involved for as low as $5,000 is one of them. The second one would be as low as $10,000. And the third one, which we're just launching coming up in June, is a straight development fund. And that one is a minimum of $25,000 to buy in.
Okay,
now,
so just, I don't mean to cut you off for a second there, Kyle, because I want you to speak about the rate of returns. But I hope everyone just heard what he said. An initial minimum investment of 5,000, 10,000, 15,000. So for all the people who email me, DM me, and stop me in the washrooms of in public places and say to me that you can't invest into real estate with $5,000 to $10,000 down, I got news for you today. That you can actually invest into real estate with $5,000. You don't have to have $500,000 to invest into real estate. And you're actually going to see some very, very aggressive rate of returns on those investments. And I'll give the mic to you.
Perfect. So our first fund is essentially an income fund. And that one is more of your safe, tried and true type investment. If you're not looking for too much risk within your portfolio, that one, we target a return of 8 to 12%. If we look at last year specifically, we returned just over 11% within that fund. Then we have what's called a balanced real estate fund. So it gives you a little bit of income as well as development. So it's kind of your medium risk, medium return type of thing. Within that fund specifically, we target a 12 to 16% net annual return. And then, like I said, we're launching that development fund. So you can get involved in development if you don't have enough for those large down payments, like he was saying. And within that fund, we're targeting 16 to 20% net annual returns. Now, worth noting, I said net annual returns, so that's what you actually put in your pocket at the end of the day.
I love that because a lot of people hear the percentages and stuff like that, but they don't actually see how they actually get the money. What are some, so if I invest, let's just say majority of my people are going to be probably investing 25 to 35 to $50,000 minimum in this type of investment. If I decide, so I do it today. And actually, let me talk about that for a second. What's going to happen is we're going to let you know how to get more information about Equiton. The team here, Tyler and Ali and Luke and Laura, are going to make those introductions for you to get you in touch with Kyle and the rest of the team. They talk to you tomorrow. They talk to you the day after, Kyle. They make the investment of $50,000. They can use their registered funds. I didn't misquote I didn't misquote you, right? Like they can use their registered funds for this
Correct.
type of investment.
Any registered fund.
Great. Now I decide I want that money. I want to take it back out in 5 months, 6 months, 7 months. Is it liquid in that sense? Can I take it out?
So we do have a minimum hold period, but it's a soft hold period. Okay. So our minimum hold period is 5 years because most people are looking at real estate as a longer term investment. Okay. But the reason why we have a 5-year hold period is so that we don't charge you any fees or any commissions whatsoever on the dollars that you actually invest. Okay. So we're asking for your time rather than your money. So you don't pay any percentage. You don't lose any of your own capital. When you do want to redeem your units is essentially what it's called. It's very straightforward. We're very liquid. We do redemptions once per month on the 15th of every month. So you just shoot us an email the month before. Next month on the 15th, you got that cash in your bank account.
Okay, awesome. Now, I know a question just came in and you see Laura running back and forth in her green outfit. She asked the question, somebody asked the question, is it just in Canada? So, because obviously some friends of ours in the States, I take it it's from somewhere in the south of the border, Laura, is watching. Can they invest into Equiton as well?
So in terms of where we're invested, we do, one of the funds is just a Canadian mandate. So it's just 100% Canadian fund. One of them is a North American fund. So we will have US assets within it. Now, with that being said, unfortunately, we aren't set up to take investments from Americans at this point in time. So we will not be able to take investments from Americans.
Okay, so maybe it has something to do with the fact that like we just don't like American money right now, and there's nothing wrong with that. I like our new Canadian money that you can actually put in the washing machine and it doesn't do anything to it. So I'm a fan of the Canadian dollar as well. I have to ask you this question, Kyle. What are some risks with this type of investment? Because the rate of return, awesome. Initial investments, amazing. Equiton, Google them again, guys. They're at the top of the list when it comes to this type of investments. I mean, all the check marks there. But just like everything else, I don't want to paint a rosy picture and tell everybody that it's going to be roses all day long, every day long with every type of investment. That's not who I am. That's why I only bring and get this passionate. And I think it's important for me to tell everybody this right now. The reason you feel this energy, and I hope I'm coming through your screen right now, is because the 7 to 8 times, I'm not hiding selling behind education. I'm bringing opportunities to make you guys wealthy using real estate as your vehicle. That doesn't say, I'm not saying that investing in businesses and crypto and stocks are bad investments. I'm just very passionate about real estate. And I only get this passionate 7 to 8 times a year because you actually have exclusive opportunities. Kyle and Elliot and the 2 other gentlemen that I'm going to be bringing on to talk about these opportunities today, they're all exclusive to REC Insiders. So I hope you get and understand why I'm so passionate about the investors marketplace. So, but I also want people to know that there's sometimes some risks involved. What are 1 or 2, 3 of those risks, if there's even 3?
So really, because we own such vast portfolio of real estate assets, it really lowers the risk that's involved with it, okay? So like I said, we have 3 different funds. So let's go through them because there's different assets within it. The first one is a large scale apartment fund. So we own large scale apartment buildings and rental purpose communities with it. This is like your super, super safe, tried and true type of investment. And the reason why is because we actually own physical assets, so you can leverage against them. You could sell them off in apocalyptic type situations. And keep in mind, you would be a minority owner, so you would take advantage of those. So in that one, there is really, really low risk that's associated with it. When you move up the risk ladder, our balance fund specifically, you get access to 3 major real estate categories. So you get land development, you get large scale real estate financial lending. So think of things like land and construction loans, not like mortgages like you or I would have, as well as commercial and industrial income producing properties. So like strip malls, beer stores, those type of things, okay? Now, a little bit higher risk because land development, 2 real things could happen. Usually it's either time or money that it's gonna cost. So if you invest in a land development project and let's say you're gonna get a 20% year-over-year return and it ends up taking 2 years longer than it was supposed to, well, you still get the same type of return, but it's spread out a little bit longer. So that the risk involved with that would specifically be just your return being slightly lower year over year. In terms of debt products, so things like loans, the risk is tied to an institution's ability to pay you back. So if they were to default, those type of things, there are some risks involved. What we do as a company, though, is we try and mitigate these risks because it's a fund. You're not investing in one specific project, one specific loan, one specific property. So if we have, let's say 10, 15 of those mixed within a portfolio, then again, it drastically lowers the risk that's involved to an individual investor themselves. Are there risks? Of course, but in my opinion, it's more on how much money you're gonna make, not if you're gonna lose money.
Kyle, thank you so much for the energy that you did bring. I'll let people in the comments make their own decisions if the energy was matched or it was not. But either way, the education and the fact that you brought opportunities to my clients, because in today's market, there's not a lot of inventory with any type of real estate investment, but we've been able to bring 4 different type of, not only 4 different opportunities, but anywhere from 35 to 45 open slots for transactions today to be made. I mean, there's no other place. I'm confident to say that there's no other place that's bringing actual inventory to the marketplace. See, you know what? One thing that I think I do very, very well, aside from the energy, and I think I'm pretty good looking, especially in the new digs with all this natural light coming in that I'm seeing on my screen. I'm happy about it as well. Let me know what you guys think about the space, the new space, is the fact that we create our own economy. See, the best deals in real estate are not found, they're created. And today we created these 4 opportunities. Kyle, thank you so much for your time today.
No problem at all. Thanks for having us, everybody. I know there was a lot of questions in there. Feel free to reach out to Jazz's team. We'll book a one-on-one and we can go into it in a lot more detail. Have a great night, everybody.
Thank you so much.
Nice to see you guys.
Thank you so much, Kyle. Wow, I can't believe we're already halfway through the investors marketplace. I guess it's true. When you're having a lot of fun, time goes by pretty quickly. I hope you guys are enjoying it. I promise to get you out here by 8:10 p.m. Eastern. I know I'm on track because the team's telling me they got big smiles on their face because they usually think I go over, but I'm going to beat them today as well. We're halfway through. I am going to let you know where to get all the information, as well as how to get in contact with my experts, and they'll make all the introductions and all of that. I got you guys covered, but I want to move on to our 3rd investment opportunity, which once again is another pre-construction condo opportunity on the north part of the city. I'm very, very blessed and grateful to have Alan Law joining us from Smart Living, which is connected to Smart Centers. My favorite hockey team is the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm not sure how many people got that reference, Alan, but there's a reason that the little Penguins, I referenced them. How you doing today, Alan?
Good, Jazz. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. Did you get my Penguins joke or what?
Absolutely.
All right, guys, the reason I say the Penguins joke, because we've all driven around the city of Toronto and the rest of the country and seen Smart Centers, and their logo is those 2 penguins. And to have Alan Law today to speak about the pre-construction condo project, which is Park Place, which I should say as well, I used to want to get Park Place on Monopoly board all the time. I mean, that boardwalk are the money pieces, and there's a reason for it. So I like your name. I'm not sure if it's tied to Monopoly or not, but Alan, can you please speak about Park Place for my REC insiders today?
Yeah, absolutely. I guess to talk about Park Place, maybe we should start off talking about where Park Place is going to be. right? In the Smart VMC. For those who don't know, the Smart VMC, that's part of the Vaughan Metropolitan Center, right? Just north of Toronto. Absolutely phenomenal location. There is no location in the entire GTA that compares to what we're doing there. That's because we have vital connection with the TTC subway. We're actually the only brand new community in the 905 that has access to TTC subway. And that's the VMC stop. We're the first stop on the Yonge University line, right? So yeah, what we're doing there, we have 100 acres. It's going to be a fully master plan community, all being developed by smart centers, right? And you know, the penguins. So I should go into a little background. Let's just back it up a little bit here. So the penguins, right? We are smart centers. We have over 30 years of development experience, and you guys have seen us. You've seen the open air plazas all across the country. We've got 174 sites across the country. We own over 3,500 acres of land. So we're not a new developer. We've been around for a while. But what we're doing now is we're bringing mixed use development to all of those sites. And the one we're talking about is the Smart VMC. And this is a phenomenal opportunity.
Talk about mixed use for a second. Why is that important, right? Because I mean, those names, those terms get thrown around in the real estate world, but there's also, like I mentioned, I mean, obviously my insiders, a lot of them have done this type of strategy before. They know the importance of investing with a reputable builder. We're going to speak about the incentives that you brought to my REC insiders today. They're going to have access to all the floor plans about Southport as well, but specifically about Park Place, they're going to have access to all this. They're going to be able to reserve a unit today and then talk to Luke Leasing to make sure that that unit is good, and then obviously be in the hands of our VP Laura, and she'll walk you through the 10-day due diligence period, which is automatic here in the province of Ontario. But you use the word mixed use. Why is that important to an investor, Alan?
Oh, that's hugely important. I mean, kind of being in a mixed use master plan community, that's already a great opportunity on its own, because it's not just a bunch of residential buildings being thrown up. It's going to be everything at your doorstep. We're doing residential, we've got commercial, we've got retail. That means we're going to have jobs, we're going to have education, we're going to have employment, all within walking distance. I mean, right now in the Smart VMC, we already have world-class employment there, right? So beyond the residential buildings that we're putting up, we have world-class employment. There's KPMG, there's PwC, you know, all the major banks are right there. And they've chosen this location, you know, to set up their corporate office because it's a prime location that's going to attract talent and workers from all across the GTA. And that's what you want. You want a location that's going to bring people. It's going to create a sense of community. And only smart centers can do that, because we are developing the whole 100 acres. We're not just doing 2 or 3 buildings and calling it a master plan. It's not several different builders putting up their own buildings, you know, and looking out for their own interests. We control every building down to every tree to design the perfect community for our residents.
I love it. I love the detail that you just went over. I mean, just like every tree. I mean, I'm born and raised in Rexdale, but right at the border of Martin Grove and Steeles. And then if you go north of Steeles, you're obviously in Woodbridge and that whole area of Colossus. That's where I used to go on dates on movie nights and stuff like that. And so, which is right across the street from VMC. I mean, you can essentially just throw a stone at the subway station. That's how close you guys are. And I think that's very important to mention, because in terms of price points and appreciation, values in world real estate, and there was a study done by Harvard probably about 4 years ago, that values appreciate the most when you're under a 500-meter radius to transit. Also, rental rates appreciate the most, and you want to have the biggest pool of prospects when it comes to tenants, and tenants like to move where jobs are, where amenities are, and as well as where transit is. Now, I also want to talk to you about some of the incentives. We spoke about the project, the location. We know that's a check. We know the builder. Guys, Google. I mean, unless you've been living under a rock, you don't know who Smart Center is. But and I say that half jokingly. I still want people who don't know about them to Google them. I mean, it's a builder that does majority of the plazas and so much real estate in our country. The third thing is the incentives. Can you talk about the deposit structure? Because I love the fact how long people have in terms of putting down their down payment.
Yeah, absolutely. So we have an excellent extended deposit structure. It's going to be, you know, 10,000 on signing, and then up the balance of 5% in 30 days, 5% in 120, 5% in 400, and 5% in 620. But to simplify that, let's just put it this way: it's 10% in this year, 5% next year, another 5% in the following year. So effectively 2.5, 3 years out to come up with the 20%. Lots of time.
I spoke about it just previously with the gentleman from Equiton, Kyle, where you can get in with as low as 25,000, 30,000, 40,000. And I mentioned how people talk to me all the time, ask me questions on the social platforms in person and say, I can't get into investing into real estate. What are some strategies? I always mention that pre-construction condos is the best forced savings plan in the world. Why? Because once you put down 5%, you got to come up with the extra down payment. Why is that important? Because if you had some thoughts about buying a Beamer, Ferrari, Lambo, Benz, or whatever it is, and for the younger guys, buying a lot of Jordan sneakers and their sneakerheads, you can't spend the money on that kind of stuff. You have to put your deposits down, right? And so it's also a very easy way to get into an investment and get into owning an income property, because when this gets built, tenants are going to want to come in and rent in that area. Can you talk about development charges as well as like leasing during occupancy? Do we have all those incentives in place, Alan?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have all those incentives in place. So you're going to get the right to lease during occupancy. You're going to have the right to do an assignment. You're also going to have your development charges capped. So it's a very simple cap. 1 bedroom, 1 plus 10 is 10,000. 2 bedroom is 12,000. Very simple.
Awesome. Alan, my friend, please leave my guys with 1 or 2 thoughts about the strategy that is investing into pre-construction condos and Park Place specifically.
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Talking about Park Place and overall strategy. Let's look at the 3 key points, right? Number 1, you want to get into master plan community, because you're not just getting 1 unit in a building. You're going to reap the benefit of the continued growth of that community over time. We have over 100 acres. It's going to be 20 million square feet, home to over 45,000 residents. Price is going to continue to go up as the community grows. Number 2, your location. We're the only location in the entire 905 that's a brand new community that's connected to subway. Excellent opportunity right there. And number 3, you hit on it earlier. Who's the developer? There's a lot of questions out there these days about who the developer is and what their credibility and strength is. We're a publicly traded company. We don't get more stable than that.
Alan, thank you so much. This is the first time that you and I did something on screen together, but you and the team I've known for a very, very long time as well. Thank you for your time. Thank you for bringing inventory, which I mentioned it before you came on as well. Like, it's very hard to bring 2, 3 types, just two or three properties to the table, let alone the 35 to 45 that REC is bringing today to our insiders. And you're a big part of it. Your team is a big part of it. And everyone here is going to get access, as I mentioned, to floor plans and pricing and the deposit structures. I hope everybody got the music. I just wanted to really, really thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much, Jazz. Thanks for having me.
All right. Take care, Alan.
All right. See you later.
All right, guys, we're down to it. We got one more investment opportunity in today's marketplace. Tyler generally beats me in the comments section and letting everyone know. He lets the cat out of the bag usually before I like him to do that. But I'm gonna let Tyler know. Tyler, do me a favor. Let everyone know where they can go to get all the information as I bring on my 4th guest today. It's actually a very, very good friend of mine and a colleague of mine, my paisan, as I like to say, Sumit, who's been with my team now for coming up to a little over 5 years. He's been helping a lot of my clients in the past 30 to 60 days with this specific student housing opportunity, where we have 6 listings and exclusive to us. They're not on MLS. They're all exclusive to us and to you as REC insiders. Stephen, do me a favor, as Tyler puts in the website for everyone to go and get the information on the 2 projects that we spoke about, which is Park Place in Vaughan with Alan, Elliott Tobe with the condo in High Park. And then we also have how you're going to get a hold of the team at Equiton, and we'll make those introductions, as well as this 4th opportunity. Sumit, how are you doing today, buddy?
Hello, Jazz. How are you? Thank you for bringing me in. Amazing, man. Amazing.
I appreciate it, and I'm so glad that you and I are going to get to do this for a little over 897 people that have registered today. I mean, it's a massive marketplace. It's something that, you know, myself and the team have been wanting to do on a regular basis, but it all comes down to when we can actually have inventory in our pocket that we control. It's very important that we control the inventory, because now we can actually offer it on an event like this. Let's talk about these 6 listings that we have that are student housing properties. They're very passive to invest into. There's property management already set up. There's a couple of different companies that we've been doing this with. I've had a little over 50 investors that have purchased in this area, in the 3 buildings in the area that you're going to be talking about.
Yeah.
And now 6 of them want to start to cash out and make investments in other places.
Yeah.
Where is it? What is it? And let's kind of go back and forth and talk about it, brother.
Right. So all these are 5-bedroom, 2-bathroom in Waterloo, and it's walking distance from University of Waterloo, Laurier, and Conestoga College. And we are looking at roughly 72 to 74,000 students there. An interesting number about Conestoga in KW, they have actually achieved 50% of their student population is now international students.
Well, why is that important? Why is that important?
Let me talk about India, where I come from, okay? Indian students, there's something about India, they love to buy everything all cash upfront. So when you deal with Indian students, they would love to pay you all cash, 100%.
Well,
why?
They don't have like the monthly payments and stuff there, right?
No mortgages. Even if they're gonna want to buy a Mercedes-Benz or all the cars you talked about, they would love to buy all cash. They hate interest.
Right. So it's nice because when you have an international student from, and we know that Waterloo and University of Waterloo and Laurier University have some of the best math and science and technology programs, that we also know where a lot of them are coming from. As you mentioned, they're more international students where there is no monthly payment. So they pay your rent, their parents pay the rent up front. I also know that on the lease agreements, because a lot of people are afraid of student housing, right? Because you don't know if you're going to be dealing with little Johnny at, you know, whatever age they're in university now, 18. I know most of the people know I didn't go to university, right? And so I kind of forget the age, but it's probably like 17, 18 years old. The parents are paying for the rent. They actually go on the lease agreement. So if rent stops to get paid, if they didn't pay up in full at the beginning, we go after the parents. So I mean, it's where that stuff happens, but continue.
Yeah, they guarantee the lease and they supply their IDs and everything, all the documentation. So these are 5-bedroom, massive condo. We are looking at 1,300 square feet, 1,400 square feet.
Okay, perfect. What's the price point? I mean, everyone's gonna get the information. Tyler, this time I got you, Tyler. I told everyone before you did. I just had you put it in. It's reccanada.com/for sale to get all the information on all the 4 opportunities. You're going to be able to get the prices, but let's just talk about it a little bit. What's the price ranges for these 5 bedrooms, 2 washrooms?
Yeah, average 630 to 635, depending on which floor they are on, which building they are in, right? So it's according to that, but let's call it 630.
Perfect. And we'll talk about the process a little bit. They're going to be dealing with you directly because you just helped a handful of investors in the last 30 days. And it's why once we started to see it happen and that you packaged everything so neatly in terms of the financing, in terms of the inspection. It's a condo, these 5 bedrooms, 2 washrooms. So there's a condo status report that needs to be reviewed by a lawyer. All that gets packaged and done within about 10 to 14 days. We take this process very, very slowly. In terms of the financing, it's not as easy as getting financing, for like a regular property. There is some extra legwork that is involved. And so you have all that package for everyone. It is, some of these properties are already rented, but I always with this type of strategy, make sure that I like to see if I can get it vacant so I can increase the rent on the new tenants. And so touch on that strategy for me.
Yeah, I have some
Oh,
properties. Yeah.
1 second, I hate to cut you off only because anytime Stephen Rochester gives
Yeah.
me a note, I have to make sure that I talk about it because he gets mad at me if I don't. Make sure if you've been to reccanada.com/for sale. Some of you, if you've been on that site before, there's something called cookies, not chocolate chip cookies, but there's cookies on the internet that you need to refresh. So make sure that you refresh your page. It's that recycling looking button on your computer, or press F5. I don't own a computer, but I remember these things. Press that on your computer and refresh. Make sure you refresh it because we're getting some comments that they're not able to get into the page and put their reservation forms in. Laura's giving me notes on how many people have put in reservation forms. I don't want you to miss it because you didn't press the refresh page. So please refresh after you go to reccanada.com/for sale. I'm going to keep you on a little bit longer, Sumit, because I just went on a little soliloquy. So go.
Yeah. So we have 2 fully vacant units, and 1 is partially vacant, and 3 are fully tenanted. So fully tenanted because of COVID, and there were hold on rent increase. So those rents are a little bit low, but we will get the new rents in more precisely on 27th of August 2022. We are looking at minimum 750, and it can go 8, and I have heard 805 as well, because I have a lot of friends in property management there. Sorry, go ahead, Jess.
No, it's important what you're saying, buddy. I mean, that's 750 to 800 per bedroom.
Per bedroom,
right?
Yeah.
And so that's very, very important to mention, because now we're looking at, and I'll do some quick math, you're looking at about $4,000 approximately coming out of the unit. And sometimes it's 5 boys together, sometimes it's 5 girls together. I know the property management company does very well with that. And sometimes they're 5 friends, and sometimes it's just it's 5 different people. But remember the importance of the fact that the parents go on this. Guys, I'm an investor first and foremost. I know I do the videos and all that kind of stuff, and I'm a real estate broker. We have a massive team, but first and foremost, I'm an investor. So I'm looking at this from my perspective and my vantage point. When I have a tenant, look, the numbers might look really good, but if it's not guaranteed by a strong covenant, and that covenant could include a higher deposit, a parent guarantor, good credit. Like, I mean, I want the story here, right? And so I want everyone to understand that, yeah, there's some horror stories when it comes to investing into a student housing, because that's generally like if you went to maybe Guelph, no shot at anybody who went to Guelph, but if you're in a home and you're renting out a home and that's like, you know, that's not managed properly by property management, then that's when you come across those kind of issues. But here, you're in a building, it's a condo building. The building is anywhere from about 10 to 12 years old, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but is that right, Sumit?
100%. So these buildings are built around 2007, 2009, 2013, more precisely. Yeah,
Perfect.
These 3 years.
Yeah, and the estimated condo fees, what are we looking at around?
From 550 to 750, depending upon the size, obviously.
No, the bigger the unit, because condo fees right across the board, doesn't matter, whatever you're looking at is always based on the square footage. The bigger the unit, the higher the condo fees, but it includes everything, if I remember correctly.
Even the internet, not the hydro, and hydro cost, I have personally checked the bill. So hydro bill is around $80 to $85, and that's equally distributed among the tenants. So all the utilities are paid by the tenants.
Okay, perfect. And so what am I looking at in terms, we spoke about the rent, in terms of financing, does that usually take, was I correct about saying it takes about 7 to 8 days to get all that wrapped up?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
7 to 8 days. It's not hard. There are banks who love student housing. It's not a big problem.
Okay, perfect. And just so you know, if you go to reccanada.com/for sale for this student housing opportunity, Sumit's going to actually be meeting you there, taking you and showing you the property. They can touch, see, and smell it.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay,
I have a keys.
Does it look good and smell good?
Yeah, it's
okay,
amazing.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure I got that across. Sumit, say hi to your beautiful wife for me, please, and your kids. I really appreciate your time, brother.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing me.
All right.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Guys, I told you I'm going to get you out of here before 8:10. I know I did a great job. Thank you, Jazz. You did a great job. You're getting everybody out of here before 8:10. But before I let you go, I need to tell you something. I cannot say this enough. Today, you have the opportunity to invest in any one of these 4 opportunities that were brought to you. Some will take advantage of it and invest in more than just one of them. We are here after you go to reccanada.com/for sale, reccanada.com/for sale. Make sure to press refresh if you've been there before, so you can actually click on one of the 4 buttons, all the 4 buttons, and get the information. Look through the information when it comes to the Swansea Village condos, Southport, and as well as the condos in Vaughan Metropolitan Center, Park Place condos. There you will see floor plans. You need to put in a reservation form because we don't have the whole building. In fact, we don't want the whole building. Why? Because we don't want the builder to sell all the condos all at once. We want them to actually release them in stages, because that's what they're going to do, and increase the pricing. We're not going to buy it in round 2, round 3, round 4. We're going to let somebody else do that. We're going to buy in first access to make sure that we take advantage of the forced appreciation by the builder. The investors marketplace is put on for one reason and one reason only. It's for you to actually take action. All my other content that I put out to the world on my YouTube page, make sure the link is in there, Tyler, Laura, or Steven. Make sure my link to my Instagram page is out there. And if you're a TikToker, come meet me on TikTok, because I'm on that platform as well. And I produce anywhere from 7 to 10 videos a day, educating you on and getting you prepared for this night. This night was not necessarily made for education. It was made so you can take action. The due diligence has already been done for you. You're still going to do your own, because you need to, and I probably should have a disclaimer written that you need to do your own due diligence. But we've vetted out these opportunities. Ask around about my reputation. It's very high. And I'm not saying that from an egotistical perspective. I'm saying that to you because I have taken the time to vet out these opportunities. I get 75 to 80 investment opportunities at my desk, and I only get allowed to with about 7 to 10 of them a year. Why? Because 90% of them don't make the cut, because I'm not going to be as confident with those other opportunities. So the ones I bring to you to a marketplace, it's probably my 4th child. I have 2 little boys. My 3rd child is my podcast, and my 4th child is the investors marketplace, because I know there's nobody else who's bringing opportunities in one night with less than an hour and giving you the opportunity to invest. Go right now to reccanada.com/for sale. Put in a reservation form and have my team reach out to you within the next 36 to 48 hours to make sure that this is the right investment for you. As you go into the investor portal, you are going to see tons of videos on the investment strategies that we spoke about. You'll see virtual tours on the student housings that Sumit just spoke about. You are going to get all the content that you need, but you can't get any of that. You can't get a kick at the can to hold one of your properties and take advantage of Ready, Fire, Aim unless you go to reccanada.com/for sale and put up your hand by putting your information in there, and then more importantly, putting in a reservation form. Please, it's digital, so you shouldn't have to we don't need to read any of your chicken scratch writing. It's going to be all digital, asking for your driver's license, because we need all that information to get to the next stage. I want to thank my team once again, Mr. Stephen Rochester, Laura Stewart, Tyler Walburn, Parsa, Yas, and Luke Leasing for joining me today in the office and getting to hear my voice all day, which I know they love to do. I also want to thank you for being with me at the Investors Marketplace, the 3rd edition. The first edition back in October, we were able to initiate a little over $47 million. The second one back in January of this year, we initiated a little over $57 million. Today's target, done by you, will be $75 million initiated in real estate. Today's event was for action takers, and I know you're one of them. Please go to reccanada.com/for sale right now and initiate a deal. I want to thank you once again. Have yourself a great evening.